Earth, home to 8 billion people. Every morning when you wake up, wherever you may be, in Tokyo, London, Istanbul, Sao Paulo, or Lagos, something happens that you aren't even aware of. The heart of the global system beats silently and relentlessly. But what if one day this heart stops? This video is a warning call, not just for the United States, but for the entire world. Today, I will show you 10 critical facilities in the United States. Financial centers, ports, technology hubs, semiconductor factories, and military bases. In a war scenario, these facilities are the keys not only to the US but also to the global economy, supply chains, and international security. Losing them would not just paralyze one country, it would paralyze the entire world. Today, I will tell you about these facilities, the secret attack scenarios targeting them, and the defense shields that protect us all as a world. We begin on the East Coast. New York, the financial capital of the world. The New York Stock Exchange and Wall Street are the heart of global capital. But the invisible side of the operation is the Port of New York and New Jersey. This port is the primary gateway for trade with Europe. In 2023, approximately $238 billion worth of goods passed through these gates. 1/4 of the US GDP is produced within a 250-mile radius of this port. It serves 60 million people. This facility is critical not only for the US but for the whole world. Because world trade, the dollar, and the global financial system revolve here. So, how could an attacker strike this place? Scenario 1, Hidden Sea Drone Attack. A cargo ship docks at the Port of New York. It looks like an ordinary commercial vessel, but under its deck, there are dozens of armed unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs. These could be hidden inside cargo containers. As it approaches the port, these drones are launched and dive into the financial center, the stock exchange, and the energy infrastructure. Such an attack was identified as a serious threat in intelligence reports in recent years. Ports, airports, and public buildings are soft targets for these types of attacks. Scenario 2, Hypersonic Missile Attack. A hypersonic missile, traveling at speeds over 6,000 km per hour, suddenly appears by passing under missile defense systems. The target, Wall Street. In this case, the global financial system collapses within seconds. Stocks freeze, payments stop, and the world economy suffers a sudden cardiac arrest. Now we go to Virginia, to the world's largest naval base, Norfolk Naval Base. Home to the US Navy's Atlantic Fleet. This is the backbone of NATO's Atlantic security. Its strategic location is at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay. This is not just a base, it is also a giant shipyard in the heart of the ships. Scenario, combination of cruise missiles and sea mines. In a conflict situation, enemy submarines could secretly place cruise missiles or lay sea mines in the Chesapeake Bay. If the mouth of Norfolk is mined, the Atlantic Fleet becomes trapped in the port. Aircraft carriers cannot leave, and submarines cannot go on missions. This completely destroys NATO's deterrence in the Atlantic. Boston, Cambridge, the biotechnology and life sciences capital of the world. The place where modern medicine, vaccines, and gene therapies are produced. An R&D economy of $7.4 billion per year. The medicines produced here go to hospitals all over the world. Scenario, biological attack or laboratory security breach. A terrorist organization or a hostile state could infiltrate these facilities to steal a biological agent or release dangerous pathogens by launching a cyber attack on the laboratories. Or it could target this center directly with a missile carrying a biological warhead. In this case, not only the US but the entire world faces the risk of a pandemic. New vaccines cannot be developed, and existing medicines cannot be produced. Research Triangle Park in North Carolina is the center of global pharmaceutical and biopharmaceutical production, with more than 385 companies and 55,000 employees. Many of the world's cancer drugs, vaccines, and gene therapies are produced here. Scenario, supply chain poisoning. Through a cyber attack, software-based sabotage could be placed into production systems. The contents of medicines could be altered, or production lines could be stopped. This would lead to a health crisis affecting millions of patients worldwide. Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson, the world's busiest airport. It doesn't just carry passengers, it is also one of the most critical nodes of global logistics. The main hub for Delta Airlines. It creates an economic impact of over $70 billion annually. Medicines, electronic parts, and emergency supplies pass through here. Scenario, electromagnetic pulse, EMP, attack. A nuclear EMP detonated over the airport instantly destroys all electronic systems. Air traffic control collapses, landing gear fails to operate, and refueling stops. When this airport is closed, the entire supply chain in the southeastern US collapses. This creates a domino effect in global logistics. The West Coast, the fortress of technology and trade. Now we move to the West Coast, the gateway to the Pacific. The ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. This port complex is the main entry point for US trade with Asia. The port of Long Beach alone supports 2.7 million US jobs and contributes $309 billion to the GDP. It has an annual volume of 9 million containers and $200 billion in trade. These two ports account for 42% of the West Coast market share. When these ports stop, the world's supply chain stops. A mobile phone produced in China, a t-shirt sewn in Vietnam, a car part made in Japan. None of them can reach the US, sir. How does an attacker target these ports? Scenario 1, ship-based drone attack. The FBI issued a warning in recent months. Intelligence was received that Iran could organize an attack by launching drones from a ship off the coast of California. Although this threat did not materialize, it shows how serious this method is. A container ship could launch dozens of armed drones while approaching the port. These drones could hit cranes, power lines, and storage areas. Port operations could stop for weeks. Scenario 2, submarine-launched cruise missile attack. An enemy submarine waits silently in international waters, off the coast of the port. Suddenly, it launches a large number of cruise missiles. These missiles fly under the radar and hit the critical points of the port. In this case, the estimated daily GDP loss is $7.6 billion. Silicon Valley, the technology and innovation capital of the world. With a GDP of $840 billion, if it were an independent country, it would be the 18th largest economy in the world. Apple, Google, Meta, Netflix, Tesla. These are not just companies. They are the backbone of global communication, data, artificial intelligence, and the economy. Scenario 1, cyber attack and data destruction. A hostile state, with months or years of preparation, infiltrates the infrastructure of Silicon Valley. It infects cloud servers with malware. With a single command, the data of billions of users could be deleted or encrypted. Financial transactions, health records, state secrets. All disappear. Scenario 2, EMP, electromagnetic pulse, attack. A nuclear EMP detonated at high altitude instantly fries all the chips, servers, and electronic devices of Silicon Valley. This means a digital apocalypse. The internet collapses, artificial intelligence stops, and the world returns to the 19th century. Seattle, the meeting point of aviation, e-commerce, and cloud computing. Boeing, the world's largest aircraft manufacturer. Amazon, the giant of global e-commerce. Microsoft, one of the world's largest software companies. Nearly 40% of the technology workforce in this city works for Amazon and Microsoft. Scenario, physical sabotage and supply chain attack. A saboteur infiltrating Boeing's part supply chain could add defective components to critical aircraft parts. This would cause thousands of planes to be grounded worldwide. Similarly, an attack on Amazon warehouses means the halt of global e-commerce. San Diego, the densest concentration of military bases in the US Pacific. 1 out of every 4 Marines is stationed here. 95% of all Marines train in this region. This is the US military gateway to the Pacific and is therefore one of the primary targets for actors like China, North Korea, and Russia. Scenario, simultaneous hybrid attack. Hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, submarine-launched cruise missiles, and ship-based drones strike military facilities in San Diego at the same time. Such an attack paralyzes the entire US military presence in the Pacific. Aircraft carriers sink, submarines are trapped in port, and Marines cannot be deployed. And perhaps the most critical facility for the world, Phoenix, Arizona. The Semiconductor Desert, TSMC is building a $165 billion chip production complex here. Intel has 5 production facilities in Chandler. In total, more than 75 semiconductor companies are in this region. These facilities produce the world's most advanced chips, 4 nanometer, 3 nanometer, and soon 2 nanometer technology. An F-35 fighter jet has more than 1,000 chips. The brain of a hypersonic missile is a chip. Your mobile phone, your car, your refrigerator, the MRI machine in the hospital. None of them work without chips. If Phoenix is hit, the world will experience a disaster that will make the 2020-2021 chip crisis look minor. Artificial intelligence stops, autonomous systems collapse, and the defense industry comes to a standstill. Scenario, direct missile attack or EMP. These facilities are the most valuable targets in the world. An enemy could use multiple hypersonic missiles to hit this place. Or by detonating an EMP at high altitude, they could destroy the sensitive production equipment in the factories. In this case, the world's chip supply would be interrupted for years. Interestingly, TSMC itself plans to use drones for security in these facilities. AI-supported UAV systems will be deployed for operational inspection, traffic control, and emergency management. In other words, defense and threat use the same technology. How are they defended? Current defense technologies. So, how are these facilities defended against all these threats? What technologies does the world have to protect these critical points? Here are the current defense shields. 1. Air and missile defense, the layered shield. The first line of defense against an attack is a layered air defense system. This works like the layers of an onion. Long-range, ballistic missile defense, THAAD, terminal high-altitude area defense, is a system that can hit ballistic missiles inside and outside the atmosphere. It destroys enemy missiles at high altitudes. Medium-range defense, Aegis Ashore is the land-based version of the Navy's Aegis system. Patriot systems target medium-range missiles and aircraft. These systems stop enemy missiles at lower altitudes. Short-range and point defense. Iron Dome destroys short-range rockets and artillery shells in the air. C-RAM systems protect bases and critical facilities against very short-range threats. These systems are specifically stationed around ports and military bases. 2. Hypersonic missile defense, the next generation. Hypersonic missiles fly at speeds over 6,000 km per hour and maneuver. This makes them very difficult to stop with traditional systems. The US is developing next-generation systems like HACM, Hypersonic Attack Cruise Missile, and the Glide Phase Interceptor, GPI, against this threat. These systems aim to catch and destroy hypersonic missiles in their glide phase. Additionally, they are trying to detect these missiles earlier with space-based sensors. 3. Directed energy weapons, lasers and microwaves. The most effective defense against drone swarms is directed energy weapons. High-energy lasers, HEL, can burn and destroy a drone in the air within seconds. High-power microwaves, HPM, can bring down an entire drone swarm by disabling all electronic devices in an area. These systems are ideal for protecting soft targets, like ports and airports. 4. Maritime and port security. Against threats from the sea, the following are used. Underwater detection systems, SOSUS, sonar networks laid on the ocean floor detect enemy submarines. Unmanned underwater vehicles, UUV, and mine hunting systems. Port entrances are constantly scanned, and mines are cleared. Coast Guard and patrol boats, suspicious ships are stopped before they approach the port. Ship tracking systems, ASH, the identity, location, and cargo of all ships are constantly monitored. Cargo containers are scanned with X-ray and spectrometer devices. 5. Cyber security and EMP protection. Against cyber attacks, cyber firewall and AI-supported threat detection, abnormal network traffic is detected instantly, and attacks are blocked before they even begin. Air-gapped systems, the most critical systems, nuclear command, financial clearing systems, operate on isolated networks completely closed to the internet. Against EMP attacks, Faraday cages and EMP shelters, critical electronic equipment is protected inside metal cages that block the EMP effect. Backup systems, all critical data is stored in EMP-resistant backup facilities. 6. Intelligence and early warning. The most important component of all these technologies is intelligence. Intelligence agencies like the FBI, CIA, and NSA try to detect enemy plans before the attack even starts. US satellites in space, SBIRS, detect ballistic missile launches within seconds. Early warning radars detect incoming missiles from thousands of kilometers away. So why is all this important to you? Because whether you live in Tokyo, London, Istanbul, or Lagos, the security of these facilities is your security. When the biotech center in Boston is hit, the cancer drugs going to your country stop. When the chip factories in Phoenix are hit, your mobile phone, your car, and the medical devices in your hospital won't work. When the port of Los Angeles is hit, the products in your stores run out. When Norfolk is hit, sea routes become unsafe, and the insurance of global trade collapses. As a world, we need the defense technologies and international cooperation that protect these facilities. Because an attack would not just be made against the US, it would be made against the entire world. Economic paralysis, supply chain collapse, health crises, cyber chaos. None of these know borders. If you found this video informative, please don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more deep dive content like this. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching.